to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hello, and welcome back to... Well, you watched last week's episode, didn't you? Didn't you? There was a giant bunny rabbit, and a samurai, and a plane shoot bullets, and a tiger, and a jolly Irishman, a prankster, if you will, whose music followed him everywhere he went, and a gun, a pistol, under a rock, and a knight on horseback, and two beautiful ladies, and a fake crewman, who was really a fake crew woman. And all of this and more in last week's episode. It was a crazy episode called Shore Leave, and if that sounds like a fever dream that I just made up, it might just be. Maybe I forgot to watch last week and I just made up something in my head. Giant bunny rabbit. Did you hear that? Did you hear that part? This episode is called The Galileo 7. As we all know, Galileo is a famous early astronomer. The Galileo 7 sounds like astral objects, you know? I presume we'll know exactly what they are when the episode starts. And we'll see what kind of problem or what kind of issue we have this week. I'm not expecting bunny rabbits, that's for sure. But last week's episode was written by Sturgeon, and I choose to think that it's the same guy. I believe that the actor's name is Sturgeon, and that he's a writer and actor. Even though I know that's not the case. Anyway, keep your eyes open for all sorts of things. Rabbits, Sturgeon, other people that we know. Galileo himself. And let's get into it.
Captain's log, star date 2821.5.
That's a good one.
En route to Marcus 3 with
the Matrix Galaxy.
Our course leads us past quasar-like formations.
Quasar.
Vague, priceless opportunity for scientific investigation. On board is Galactic High Commissioner Ferris.
I didn't pause it for that, but I'll pretend to pause it for it. Galactic High Commissioner Ferris. What a great title. And look at his expression when the turbolift doors open. What an entrance. But hey, I paused it because we're going to have to see what that looked like originally. Because holy moly, it looks crazy green, doesn't it? I love it. Hey, Galactic High King guy. What's this I hear about some Galileo 7? Could you tell me about that?
Overseeing the delivery of the medicines to Marcus 3. Captain to shuttlecraft Galileo. Stand by, Mr. Spock.
It's a shuttlecraft.
I remind you, Captain, I'm entirely opposed to this delay.
We'll get there.
I have standing orders to investigate all quasars and quasar-like phenomena wherever they may be encountered.
Yeah.
It's 3 days to Marcus. And the rendezvous doesn't take place for 5.
We've 2 days to spare.
I don't like to take chances. The plague is out of control on New Paris. We must get those drugs there on time.
Hey, okay. I rescind what I was in my head. I'm taking the commissioner's side on this one. Sure, look. 3 days to get there. 5 days before the meeting. 5 days before the rendezvous, so we give the medical supplies. There's a huge plague. People could be dying. Let's not risk it. Let's make sure we're there on time, even if we're there 2 days early. Or we could explore this weird quasar that's green and cool looking, as per Starfleet Directive 295. But, come on, people's lives. What about the Vega colony? Remember in the pilot? What about the chilies? Remember there was something about chilies in one episode? And there was the Antares was full of turkeys, remember that? The point is, we need to get to... I'm with the commissioner on this. Anything could go wrong. There was rabbits last time, Kirk. Rabbits that could distract us for more than 2 days, and then people will die. You know what ticking clocks are like on this show. get stuck in a spiral orbit around this frickin' quasar, and somebody will get drunk and take over the ship, and you know. I already love this episode. Nothing's happened yet. Shuttlecraft is called Galileo.
No problem. All systems cleared for takeoff.
Oh, it's number 7. It's the 7th shuttlecraft.
All readings normal. All go.
What are we doing?
Launch shuttlecraft.
This looks amazing, by the way, but are we getting a closer look? Who's on board? Spock, some guy, some woman,
Acceleration
Scotty,
normal.
another guy,
Phase 1 separation
Bones.
normal.
another
Position.
guy. There's 7 of them.
So this indicator's gone crazy.
That's to be expected, Mr. Spock.
It's doing this.
Mr. Spock, radiation is increasing.
Stop forward momentum, Mr. Latimer.
Oh, pull the brake, sir.
I can't, sir. Nothing happened.
God damn it, Letterman.
Galileo to Enterprise.
Mayday, mayday.
We are out of control. Being pulled directly into the heart of Murasaki 3, course 3.25.
Anything at all?
Nothing clear, Captain.
Scanners are blank, Captain. We're getting a mass of readings I've never seen before. Nothing makes sense.
Looks like that colony's gonna die of the plague.
At least 4 complete solar systems in the immediate vicinity. And out there, 24-foot shuttlecraft. Off course. Finding a needle in a haystack would be child's play.
Well, good thing we stopped to investigate this, isn't it, Kirk? That commissioner's gonna give him what for during this musical interlude.
Space. The final frontier.
I have to ask, what was the original idea? Does the shuttlecraft have super scanning capabilities? Why did we need the Doctor and Scotty and Spock and 4 other crewmen crammed into that shuttlecraft? We know how fragile they are. They only have like 2 hours of air or something. Want to crash land somewhere? But, yeah, what are they? Why do we need all those people out there in the shuttlecraft? Super science? Can't risk the ship?
7 of our shipmates still have not been heard from. Equally bad. The effect has rendered our normal searching systems useless.
Damn it. Okay, here's the plan, okay? Here's the compromise. Commissioner, we're going to stay here for 2 days. We're going to search for the crewmen. We're going to leave no stone unturned. And we're going to get some coffees. Thank you. If, at that time, after 2 days has passed, we have not found any trace of the crew, we're going to go deliver those medical supplies. We're going to make a rendezvous. 3 days there. Then we're going to come back 3 days later and continue the search. Agreed? What's actually going to happen is Kirk's going to give him what for. He's going to say, we're going to stay here till the end of time, Commissioner. And if I need to boot you off our ship with those medical supplies, I'll do it. I'll give you a shuttlecraft. You'll get there in 17 million years. Go. But I think we can agree on the coffees. Right? I think we can agree on the coffees. This is something that they just don't do on other Star Trek shows. Deliver food and drink to the bridge. I love it. I love it.
I was opposed to this from the very beginning.
Yeah?
We have 2 days to find them.
In all that?
Yeah.
2 days?
Yeah.
What would you have me do? Turn around and leave them there?
You shouldn't have sent them out in the first place.
There's one planet in this solar system capable of sustaining human life.
Let's go there.
Oxygen, nitrogen, and it's listed as Taurus 2.
Taurus 2.
Set course for Taurus 2. Aye, sir.
If they're alive, that's the only place they could be. I blame this guy. He didn't know which way to go. Good thing they got the doctor with them. Could you help me with this, Doc?
You all right? Yeah. Scotty?
Could we fix this guy's wrist?
What a mess.
Mr. Scott,
Fix it, Scotty.
you'll find your work is cut out for you.
Galileo to Enterprise, come in, please.
You don't really expect to get an answer, do you?
It's merely logical to try all the alternatives.
Dr. McCoy, a reading on the atmosphere, please.
Can we breathe it? I'm going to open the
Pressure
door.
of oxygen, nitrogen 140. Breathable if you're not running in competition.
Okay.
Just the facts, Doctor. Gentlemen, I think we should move outside and make room for Mr. Scott to do his work.
Right.
Just arm yourselves. Scout out the area, keeping in visual
Got your
contact
phaser?
with the ship.
Aye, aye, sir.
He's ready to kill some aliens. We're the aliens, though, technically. Do you think Letterman and Wristman are cannon fodder? Death fodder?
We may be here for a very long time, Doctor.
Oh, 2 days, max. Anything?
Nothing, Captain.
Damn it, Nora.
Are the transporters beaming up yet?
Not 100%, Captain.
We could do it via shuttlecraft.
Flight deck, prepare Columbus for immediate exit.
Right,
Transmission is blocked, reception impossible.
this guy.
Well, Captain, you don't really think you'll have any luck, do you?
Hey, no, don't be a Debbie Downer,
Look,
dude.
these people are my friends and my shipmates. I intend to continue the ship's search for them until the last possible moment.
Exactly.
But not 1 second beyond that moment. Is that clear? If it isn't, I suggest you look at Book 19, Section 433,
Yeah, look at that book.
paragraph
I'm
12.
Look at that
familiar
book.
with the regulations, Commissioner. I know all about your authority.
Forget about the regulations. Think about the dying people on that planet.
Well, I can't say much for the circumstances, but at least it's your big chance.
Big chance?
For what, Doctor? Command. You've never voiced it, but you've always thought that logic was the best basis on which to build command. Am I right?
Whoa, where's this?
I am a logical man, Doctor.
Where's this coming from?
Well, it'll take more than logic to get us out of this. I know of no better way to begin.
Engineering skills?
But I neither enjoy the idea of command, nor am I frightened of it.
Right.
And I will do whatever logically needs to be done. Excuse me.
What are you talking about? Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc. You deserve a pause, Doc. What are you bringing? What are you talking about this? Coming up to Spock. We're stranded on this planet. We're trying to fix a damn shuttlecraft. We all crammed in like sardines. Hey, Spock, now's your chance to prove that logic is the best command. Well, we're going to need more than logic to get out of this. What are you talking about? Are there going to be issues with the crew that we have to handle? Some sort of emotional turmoil between crew members that we have to soften with some sort of human heart? What's he gibbering about? He gets 2 weeks of shore leave and he goes crazy. Starts seeing bunny rapids in his sleep, and now he's mouthing off to Spock. Let him help Scotty fix the... We've got priorities here. Forget about logic. We have to fix the ship. We need to get the ship off the ground. We need to contact the actual ship. The end. That's it. Nothing else needs to be done. Now, if there's something on this planet that can help us, maybe a search party, see if we can gather materials, or I don't know, get some water and food and something that can help us make oxygen. Well, the atmosphere itself, we can breathe it, so that's fine. But what's going to happen on this little place that the doctor's little speech here makes some sort of sense? It's funny, the Galileo 7, I thought, look, it's a shuttlecraft called Galileo. And look, it's the 7th one, NCC 17017. That makes perfect sense. But there's also 7 of them inside it. So they are the Galileo 7 too. So it's a double meaning. I wonder if they made it a double meaning because they thought the audience would be confused if it was just the number of the shuttlecraft. And that's why they crammed 7 people in there. Hey, Scotty, how's it going? Do you need any emotional support, Scotty? Good job, you're doing a good job. Is that what you're talking about, Bones?
We have no chance at all to reach escape velocity.
Shit.
We'll have to lighten our load by at least 500 pounds.
Oh, good. Get rid of 4 crewmen.
The weight of 3 grown men. Or the equivalent weight in equipment.
Well, there it is. There it is, folks. It took like less than 60 seconds for the Bones prophecy to kick in. We do have to make a decision that isn't based up purely on logic. We gotta sacrifice either crew to get off the ground, or equipment. Maybe we can't. Maybe there's not enough non-vital equipment here. We have to start drawing straws. Yeah, Bones, you were right. He has the gift of prophecy, this one. Not only is he a doctor, but he's also a fortune teller. If he ever says, "God damn it, I'm a doctor, not a fortune teller," he's a liar. Yet also hasn't said anything like that yet in any episode.
We use virtually every piece of equipment aboard this craft in attaining orbit.
Right.
There's very little excess weight.
What about the seats?
You mean 3 of us must stay behind?
Unless the situation changes radically, yes.
And who's to choose?
You, dude. You have to go.
The choice will be mine.
You wouldn't be interested in drawing lots.
Well, but I do believe I'm better qualified to make the selection than any random drawing of lots.
Who?
Let's not get ahead of
My
ourselves.
choice will be a logical one.
Life and death are seldom logical.
I think Spock would choose himself to stay behind as one of the people.
If any minor damage was overlooked, it was when they put his head together.
Not his head, Mr. Beaumont. His heart.
Have faith in Spock. These two are going to get themselves killed. So we'll only have to leave one person behind. And Spock will choose himself. Easy peasy. The monsters will get him.
What is it?
I don't know.
Some kind of monster.
It's from up there.
No, it's from back there.
It's all around us. They're coming right for us.
It's everywhere. It's all around us.
Watch your backs, fellas. At least they're together. They have a fighting chance. Oh! Oh, holy crap! Well, there's one person we don't have to worry about, Spock.
Come on, Bowman.
Kill the natives! This guy's pretty good. He's gonna wipe out a whole race of people on this planet. One man needs phaser.
What was it?
Latimer didn't make it.
Up there. I think I hit it.
Prehistoric man.
Poor Latimer.
Well, at least it was quick for him.
Folsom Point.
Sir?
Discovered 1925, old world calendar. Not very efficient.
Not very efficient. Is that all you have to say?
This guy.
Am I an error, Mr. Beaumont?
You, air? Impossible.
This freaking guy and his attitude. This freaking guy and his attitude. He's already angry at a decision that Spock has not made. You know? Because he's thinking, of course he's going to get rid of me. Because everybody's thinking, if we have to get rid of 3 people, we have to keep Spock, the chief doctor on the ship, he's very useful, Scotty, he keeps the ship running, and the woman, because she's not heavy enough to throw off the ship. She won't make a difference. So obviously it's going to be the 3 guys. And obviously I'm going to be one of them. But we know that 1, Spock's going to choose himself as one of the people if it has to go to it. 2, he might ask for volunteers. That seems logical. And 3, one of the other people is going to get killed at some point. So he'll only be choosing to leave himself behind. But there's no need for this back talk. What is it with members of the Enterprise crew? Either questioning their captain or superior officers, or giving them sass. You know? How many times have I said, get off the bridge, dude? How many times have I said that? So many times.
There's a man lying there dead. And you talk about stone spears.
My concern for the dead will not bring him back to life, Mr. Beaumont.
In the interest of efficiency, you don't think we should leave his body here?
We could bury him.
If you need assistance,
We'll do it. Give me a hand with Latimer, will you?
Will it help if he cries over the body, fellas?
We continue to search. Any word from engineering on our sensors?
They're working on them, sir.
What about the transporters?
They're still reported unsafe.
God, we need Scotty back.
Captain,
Yeah?
Yes, Commissioner.
I must remind you,
I haven't forgotten, Commissioner.
you're running out of time.
The same thing over and over, Commissioner.
Try using overload power on the transporters. We've got to get them working.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Order the Columbus to open its course 2 degrees on every lap from now on.
2 degrees means you'll be overlooking more than a dozen terrestrial miles.
Also means we have a fighting chance to cover the majority of the planet's surface.
Right. We're making it more likely. We're not fine comb searching, but we're...
24 more hours, Captain.
Yeah, get off my bridge. Don't let him back on the bridge. Sulu, make sure he doesn't get back up here. Frickin' guy.
The
This should save us at least 50 pounds, Mr. Spock.
Excellent, Doctor. Which would still leave us at least 150 pounds overweight.
Right, one person.
Can't believe you're serious about leaving someone behind.
Mr. Spock, we're ready.
For what?
The services for Latimer.
Oh yeah, the funeral.
Mr. Boma, we're working against time.
The man's dead. He deserves a decent
Yeah, but-
burial. You hear the captain a few words.
We may all die here. At least let us die like men, not machines.
I hope to increase our chances of staying alive.
If you give me a hand with this conduit.
Are you really, God, fellas? I know. I don't want to pause it again to talk about it. I'll talk at the end.
Yeah, that's done it. We have no fuel.
It would seem to solve the problem of who to leave behind.
Everybody.
Something's happening outside.
Is it the natives? Maybe they've got fuel for us.
If they're tribal, we can use that.
How, Mr. Boma?
By hitting them hard. Make them think twice about attacking us.
Yes, I agree.
I'm frequently appalled by the low regard you Earthmen have for life.
Now, I say we hit them before they hit us.
Dr. McCoy?
Seems logical to me.
It seems logical to me also. But to take life indiscriminately.
The majority.
I'm not interested in the opinion of the majority, Mr. Gaetano. The components must be weighed.
Yeah, he's in command.
There's a third course. You'll follow my orders.
Maybe we can scare
Firing
him.
only when so instructed, and at my designated targets. You'll fire to frighten, Mr. Gaetano.
Yeah, scare him.
Not to kill. Follow me.
We know that Spock is not against striking hard, like with the Romulans. This is a different situation. Oh. Got his shield. Pretty durable though, isn't it? No holes or anything. Held up to a phaser blast. Must be on a low setting.
Direct your phasers to 2 o'clock and to 10 o'clock. Take aim, please, and fire when I give a signal.
Where are you going, Spock? You leaving us to die?
Fire.
Ceasefire.
What's the range on these phasers? Could we shoot them up into the sky like a flare? Hey, do you see those lights beaming into space? It looks like phaser fire. I feel like with enough combined phaser power we could make a signal or something that they might detect, or even look out a window and go, hey, look over there. The Northern Lights. That's not the Northern Lights. That's phaser fire. Just an idea, you know? We're screwed. We're on the ground. We've no fuel. We can't take off. We've lightened the load enough so that only one of us has to stay behind, but we still don't have any fuel. And nobody can find us because of the ionic interference.
You should think twice before bothering us again.
I still say we should have killed them.
Mr. Boma, you return with me to the Galileo. Mr. Gaetano, you remain on guard here, keeping contact with the ship.
Do not kill anybody. Keep your bloodlust in check. Unless it's life or death situation.
Scotty has an idea.
Oh,
It's dangerous, but it might work.
okay.
Our phasers. I can adapt them
Oh,
and
the
use their
phasers.
energy.
Trouble is, they happen to be our only defense.
It would also seem to be our only hope.
Aye.
We're using the phasers in a different way to power the ship enough to get off.
If I can get a full load, we should be able to achieve orbit with all hands.
Doctor, your phaser.
What do you think? He should be the first to give it up. How are the transporters doing, fellas? Hey, these seem intact. Hey, look at the giant pill box. Remember that?
You report to transporter room for immediate beaming down to surface of the planet.
Oh, rock. Kill them all. Do not run. Okay, you can try it. Can't climb because the doc never fixed his wrist. You're done for. Done for. Do you think he's done for? They can make him their new king. He can teach them the magic of fire. Well, we got some energy. Take it back to the shuttlecraft.
Take this back to Mr. Scott for conversion, please, Doctor.
Nobody knows what's happened to Gaetano. And you hand over his phaser like nothing's happened at all.
Yep, that's right. Boom.
And Give this to Mr. Scott in the event I don't return.
He's going after him.
Return to the ship, please.
Selfless. See, Boma? Do you want to go help him?
He'll risk his neck locating Gaetano.
Yep.
He's just as liable to order him to stay behind.
Do you really think the ship will ever leave?
Not without these
Well,
phasers.
it won't unless we get these phasers back.
Oh, Gaetano, are you okay? Is he breathing? Oh, he's going to carry him back. Whether he's alive or dead. Oh, he's not going to be able to do this without interference. Oh, they missed. Don't stop, Spock. Keep going. Oh, they actually hit. They actually hit Gaetano. That poor actor. Once we're in the shuttlecraft, they can't pierce the titanium of the shuttlecraft. Maybe they could get the glass. What do you think, Scotty? How we doing?
Well, Mr. Spock, you didn't stay frightened very long, did they? They were perfectly predictable. To anyone with feeling. Your precious logic brought them down on us.
Yep.
Why haven't they done anything?
They're studying us.
Another prediction, Mr. Spock?
My opinion, Mr. Bones.
We should ask Bones. He's the predictor. He's the seer. Oh, look at the size of this boulder this guy has.
All right, Spock, you have all the answers. What now?
Omega tone is increasingly hostile.
We could use a little inspiration.
Yeah.
Strange.
Inspiration.
Step by step, I have made the correct and logical decisions. And yet 2 men have died.
A little less analysis and more action. That's what we need.
Yeah. Make a
Much
decision.
longer, Mr. Scott.
Another hour, maybe 2.
Damn it. Can we go out and stop this guy hitting us with a boulder? Give him a neck pinch. Hey, Commissioner, are you on board? Are you on the... Zulu, I thought I told you to keep that man off the bridge.
You have 2 hours and 43 minutes, Captain.
Stop it with the countdown, Commissioner.
I intend to continue the search, foot by foot, inch by candlelight if necessary, until the last possible moment. Keep your nose off my bridge, I'd be thankful.
Yeah, get out of here. Zulu, for the love of God.
Mr. Scott, how much power do we have left in the ship's batteries? Will they electrify the exterior of the ship?
That they will, Mr. Spock!
We're gonna electrocute him.
The moment they discover they're not seriously hurt, they'll be back.
Yeah.
And see if there's anything else you can unload to lighten the ship.
Mr. Gaetano's body is back there.
It will, of course, have to be left behind.
Not without a burial.
I wouldn't recommend it.
A burial?
Not without a burial, Mr. Spock.
It would expose members of this crew to unnecessary...
Okay. I said I wasn't going to pose it earlier, but I need to pose it for the funeral and the burial and all that stuff. We're in a life or death situation. We need to get off this planet within the next... There's hours, you know? We need to fix the ship. We need to do everything we can to get off. One of our crewmen has died. Now 2. That is terrible. We will have time to mourn these people, have proper ceremonies for them, treat them with dignity after we've solved this life or death ticking timer situation. And for you to start piling on your insubordinate attitude and forcing us to go out where people were just attacking us with boulders so that we could stand in front of a grave and say some words is really inappropriate. And I know what you're talking, and this whole episode is interesting to talk about, so we'll leave that interesting conversation till the end. But I'm not on the side of Boma and the humans in this situation who want to, for us all to leave, Scotty included, and stand over a grave, and dig a grave and stand over a grave so we can pay our respects to our fallen crewmate. Right now, it's a bad decision. But hey, maybe we've got time. Maybe they've been scared off. Scotty can stay here doing the phaser thing, and what are we going to do? May as well go out and dig a hole and say our ceremony and pay our respects, you know? It's the only the right thing to do. But the key thing I'm going to talk about at the end is, well, I guess the whole episode. But that first pause, maybe it was the second pause, or the third one, when Bones brings Spock aside and starts talking about command and logic and all that stuff, and I'm like, where is this coming from? What's going to happen in this episode? He's a prophet. He's a seer. He can see into the future. So he has some sort of medical tool that can see the future? Because it makes no sense otherwise.
You see, Mr. Spock, I would insist upon a decent burial, even if your body was back there.
Mr. Boma.
But I'm sick and tired of this machine.
Come on.
That's enough.
Come on, Boma.
All right, Mr. Boma, you'll have your burial.
Spock's giving him some leeway. But his attitude is still not going to be... Even though Spock's allowing him to do this, he's not going to be any better.
Kelowitz, Captain.
Oh, were you attacked?
We were attacked, Captain. Furry creatures.
Furry creatures.
10, 12 feet in height.
They're 12 feet tall?
The creatures are all over the place. If the Galileo is down on that planet,
Thank you, Lieutenant.
I don't need your speculations.
You better report to sick bay yourself.
Aye, Captain.
There's nobody in sick bay, but get there. Have some brandy.
Your time is up.
But they're still out there.
And I now assume authority granted me under Title 15 Galactic Emergency Procedures.
What are we going to do?
The Columbus hasn't returned yet.
Recall your search parties and proceed to Marcus 3 immediately.
Uh-oh. Gotta buy some time, Kirk.
I'm in partial contact with them now, sir.
Then have them return immediately.
He has no choice. It's the regs. Also, there's a million people dying of the plague.
I have been compelled to abandon the search. How long before the Columbus comes on board?
23 minutes.
23 minutes. That's plenty of time for the people on the ground to get up. Now or never, Scotty.
That's it. If we shed every ounce, we might be able to achieve orbit.
Everybody get in here.
Ship will lift off in exactly 10 minutes. You have that long to bury Mr. Gaetano. I'll assist you. Hurry.
And you assist us too. Stop sitting on your ass. Grab a shovel. Oh, the Columbus is back.
The Columbus is aboard, sir. The flight hatch is closed.
Sulu, proceed on course for Marcus 3 at space normal speed.
Space normal speed. What is that, Captain?
Order all sensor sections to direct beams aft. Continuous operation until further orders.
Go, 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 go. No man left behind. That was illogical, fellas. Go!
We should be moving, but we're not.
Oh, somebody holding us down?
They seem to be holding us down.
What are you doing?
Our boosters.
We'll never be able to hold orbit.
Would you rather stay here?
Boost. We're still scanning. We're only going at space normal speed.
By coming after me, you may well have destroyed what slim chance you had for your survival.
Nonsense.
Fuel status?
Approximately enough for one orbit, sir.
I don't want to die up here.
Well,
Infinitely preferable to the kind of death we'd be granted on the planet's surface.
yeah, they'll rip us limb from limb.
You said a while ago that there were always alternatives.
Did I? I may have been mistaken.
Well, at least I've lived long enough to hear that. Is there anything we can do?
The Enterprise is surely on course for Marcus 3 by now.
We sit in hope.
I, for one, do not believe in angels.
Wow.
With our present fuel, that gives us about 45 minutes.
Uhura, are you getting anything?
Galileo to Enterprise, come in, please.
Spock!
What did we just do? Jettison fuel. Oh, we're going hyper speed. Leaving a trail. They'll spot us.
Are you out of your mind?
It's like a flare.
Perhaps, Mr. Boma.
We gotta see it, though, right?
Captain, something there on the screen.
Go back.
180 degrees about, Mr. Sulu.
Oh, I like the speed.
A distress signal?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like sending up a flare.
Hey, that's what I said.
Mr. Spock, that was a good gamble. Perhaps it was worth it.
No one out there to see it.
You take your chances, you know?
Maybe the last action you'll ever take, Mr. Spock.
Good one. A good one. Oh, jeez. Anytime, fellas.
Transporter's locked in, sir.
Get him.
Activate beams.
Get him.
Transporter room just beamed up 5 persons.
We got 5 of them.
Alive and well.
It'll do. 5 out of 7 ain't bad.
Proceed on course to Marcus 3.
Warp, whatever.
Ahead warp factor 1.
One? Aren't we in a rush? Don't they desperately need those supplies? Is Boma here?
Really something I don't understand about all this, and maybe you can explain it to me. Logically, of course. virtually no chance of it being seen, and yet you did it anyhow. And that would seem to me to be
Hey, look, a small pause just to point out the picture, and it's on the monitor screen. Behind him looks very much like the flare of the jettisoning the fuel in green, doesn't it?
an act of desperation. How does your well-known logic explain that?
Come on, Spock.
Logic informed me that, under the circumstances, the only possible action would have to be one of desperation.
Makes sense to me.
You mean you reasoned that it was time for an emotional outburst?
Wouldn't put it in exactly those terms, Captain.
You're not going to admit that for the first time in your life, you committed a purely human, emotional act?
No, sir.
Stop teasing me. Get away.
You're a stubborn man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they're all laughing. It wasn't that funny. It's contagious, though. You know? It's contagious. Hey, what? We haven't seen this yet. Did you see the noose? Oh, we haven't seen... This is the guy I was talking about last episode. You know? The guy with the lizard head. Who I'm picturing Kirk fighting near those rocks that we saw in Shore Leave. Now, we're going to look up what things look like for firstlies. Oh, you can see the planet. It is green. They made the planet look green. The quasar... You know what it looks like, the quasar? It looks like the image they're using. Like something underwater, you know? Like the shape of something that's swirling underwater. But it could be a cosmic image they have. And just in the process of looking through these things, I just see a little quote from somebody saying that they refer to this. They think of this episode as sort of like a fixed fight. And I sort of go along with that. And we'll talk about it now. In the sense that it was an episode that had a certain point to make, and they went out of their way to... They constructed the episode so that it would make a certain point, rather than letting the episode happen a bit more naturally. And no clearer is that the case than, and I've mentioned it already, when Bones drags Spock aside while he goes outside and talks to him, and he's like, "Well, you've got the command. You've got command now." And he makes a big deal about how command is not all about logic. And I paused and I talked about it. I said, "Look, we just need to fix the ship and get up, and that's it." What are you talking about, Bones? You're making up something that's not an issue. And it becomes such a big issue in the whole episode. And I'm thinking, will we have some interpersonal crew stuff to, will you need to give people a pep talk? What's going to go wrong in this episode? But literally, like, everything goes wrong. It starts with Spock having to make a decision about who to leave behind. That's a great question and quandary for him to have. And I sort of wish they hadn't just dropped it. They made it so the episode played out so that he would not have to make that decision. Now, I thought kind of an obvious thought would be that everybody would think that he was going to leave a certain somebody behind because they've been giving him sass talk all episode, but that he would actually leave himself behind. And that would be a huge growth moment for the character, for us. But we already see that kind of growth, that self-sacrifice that Spock has in the Menagerie episode, where he puts himself on the line, his career, his life even, for Pike. We've already seen him do that, make that decision, that emotional decision, to put himself in the line of fire to save somebody. And in this episode, they constructed it so that he would always have the worst possible attitude towards what was happening. The non-human attitude, the cold. Somebody dies, Spock's all about fixing the ship. We want a funeral, Spock's all about fixing the ship. You know? It's all about efficiency, it's all about logic, it's all about solving a problem. It's not about catering to the whims of the humans. And it became such a big deal. Almost every interaction became about that. And I sort of, you know what I didn't like? I didn't like the way Spock was kind of pushed into the corner, and then he was starting to doubt himself because of that. He was like, but I made all the right choices. I made all the logical choices, and 2 people are dead. And we could all die. And, you know, he misread the natives, you know, by trying to scare them instead of killing them. But you see, it only went wrong because the writers decided it was going to go wrong. And that's what this other person who described the episode as a fixed fight, that's what they mean. It was all rigged. It was all... No decision that Spock was going to make was going to be the right one, because the writers would force him to accept that sometimes the best decision isn't the logical one. It's the one that you make with your gut, your human emotion. And at the end, when he's like, well, you know, the logical thing might be just to use up as much, you know, spend as much time in this orbit, or we could just burn everything in the hopes that somebody will see us, you know? Now, I think the burning of the fuel to make something extremely visible, and I think that is the most logical thing to do in that situation. If you think there's no hope, may as well. You know, if you're lost somewhere and you don't think anybody's around to hear you, may as well scream anyway. You know, you can either stay quiet and die, or you can scream and die. May as well scream and die. Very logical. So it doesn't hit its mark in that way. And, to be fair to Spock, he defends himself afterwards to the laughing bridge crew. They don't care that 2 people have died. They've gotten over that. They don't care about Gaetano or... Who was the other one? Latimer. Never forget those guys. Add him to the wall. Add him to the next time we go through the list. Those 2 fellas. I knew they were going to die in the second. I'm surprised they didn't die together. Solved the problem. One interesting thing is that Boma, you could call him the antagonist of the episode, but he's certainly the person who survived and was kind of pushing against Spock all episode. The only person who survived the episode that wasn't on the bridge at the end. I guess they were like, well, it's kind of unrealistic for him to be up here. We can have, what was her name? Yeoman Mayers? We can have her there. Taking logs. She didn't even help digging the grave. Get out there. I don't care. You're on your communicator? Get out there and frickin' dig. They almost got Spock. That funeral almost got Spock killed. But again, they twisted it so that Spock has been somehow a boulder has pinned him to a rock, and the 2 humans, no man left behind. I don't care if it's illogical. We're gonna get you, Spock. This is what humans do. I know you would have left us behind, but we're humans and we're great, and we're gonna get you. Fixed fight. So I think the core of the episode, what it's all about, was contrived. And in a way it was annoying. In a way it was annoying. Because every scene you're like, this is, I need to say something about this. Don't you have a heart, Spock? This man deserves respect and dignity. We need to have a service for him. There's a guy outside with a boulder smashing on our thing. We're almost got the phasers. so we can get off and hopefully get rescued. But this man deserves respect. We need to go out and say some words. Even if it gets us all killed. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. How did Boma even get into... How did Boma, Gaetano, or Latimer... I'm not gonna... Latimer, he didn't say anything, I don't think. Get into Starfleet. How did they graduate Starfleet Academy? You have to make the tough choices. You know? To graduate Starfleet Academy, you have to choose who lives and who dies. You have to be okay with making that choice. You can't just go the everything is roses and peaches and we're going to save everybody route. Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, Kirk is actually making the tough choices. Now, is he doing it begrudgingly? Yes. Is he going at space normal speed? What speed do you think that is? Some sort of impulse speed? Drift away from the planet, Sulu. You know? Just casually point towards where the commissioner wants us to go. And just let us slide. Sulu's like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. I'm keeping the commissioner off the bridge, but I'm not quite sure how to fly the ship in the way the captain wants me to. We spiral away from the planet slowly, Sulu. Ever increasing orbit while constantly scanning. You know? Those poor plague victims. Do you think they got... How many people do you think died because we got there too late? We were only going at warp 1 at the end. He was like, let's get to that place. Warp... What number will I pick? 1. Let's go the slowest. The slowest warp, Sulu. Aye, Captain. No problem. No commissioner to be found, by the way. At the end. In the ending scenes. You know, once he said, Kirk, I'm taking control, we're going to the planet, he vanished. He was off the bridge, he never came back up. He never questioned the captain about, why are we going so slowly away from the planet? Doesn't this ship go faster than this? It does, Commissioner, but Scotty. We need Scotty for that. That guy, that commissioner guy. It must be a strange acting role for that guy, because basically he was just given a reminder and being on a timer, given that he was the countdown clock of the episode. We've had plenty of those. We're running out of oxygen. Sulu's freezing on a planet. Our orbit is spiraling into a planet that's also contracting at the same time. Plenty of timers. But he was the timer. Oh, Baylock is giving us 10 minutes to say our goodbyes. So last episode was a breath of fresh air. Shore Leave, it was a stupid episode, and I loved it, every moment of it. This episode forces us to think about how logical decisions and emotional decisions, how one is not necessarily always the best one, but it does it in such an annoying way that I don't think it works. I understand it. I understand every line of dialogue and why it was there, but I don't think it works, because I don't really think the audience ever turns on Spock, even when he's getting people killed, and even when his decisions are wrong. I don't think the audience is ever siding with Gaetano. I don't think they're ever siding with Boma, and I don't think they're ever siding with Bones. I think they're just like, oh shit, this went wrong. Oh, like I was feeling. Like, oh, what is this episode? Why everything's just going wrong? And we're gonna blame Spock because he's trying to, make the best decisions. And that was his first command. I don't believe that was his first command, by the way. Even if we haven't seen him in command in any other episode, it doesn't feel right to call it his first command. I feel like he would have had that in previous He served with Pike for 12 years. He was never on an away mission. That doesn't feel right to me. So, yeah. Those creatures were apparently 12 foot tall. I thought they were just... I didn't get a sense of that scale from them, but apparently. And they sure could pound the shuttlecraft, couldn't they? With their rocks. They really hated us. And those poor search parties, they got the brunt of it too. I don't think anybody died though, did they? In the search parties? Cool that we get to see more of the shuttlecraft in this episode. The nebula looked fantastic. No, it wasn't a nebula. The quasar looked great in the remaster. The planet itself, there's not much you can do with that. It was just a simple stage set. Just throw lots of fog in. Fog machine. Very small. Not much to work with. Kind of gave it a claustrophobic feel, which kind of worked. Yeah, that's it. Scotty was probably the best character in the whole episode, actually. Never gave Spock a hard time, really. Just focused on his job. He was doing basically what Spock was doing the whole episode. Just trying to fix the ship. Just trying to come up with solutions to get us off the planet. But he wasn't getting... Because he wasn't in command, he wasn't getting any of the flack for that. Didn't go to any of the funeral stuff. Didn't help dig. Everybody was just letting Scotty get on with it. Maybe they should have just let Spock get on with it too. You know? I don't know. The only big decision he got wrong, or he misread how the natives were going to respond to getting scared. But who's to know if we went blasting and started killing them? Maybe they would have come even in stronger force. We don't know, really. You know? We don't know. Because they seemed extremely violent. You know, to the search parties, to anybody who was around. Maybe we should have just blasted them. But then we wouldn't have any phasers left to power the ship. My idea of firing into the sky probably wouldn't have worked. Anyway, the next episode is called The Squire of Gothos. I'm not sure how that's pronounced exactly. But it sounds, I don't know, it feels more like The Conscience of the King in tone. Just that title feels like it. We'll see what all that's about. A specific person, maybe. Yeah. So overall, before I leave you, I think the commissioner could have been more interesting. They could have given him something more to do than just bully the captain. Maybe appeal to his sense of, all those people are going to die. Give him out the numbers, you know? Say, look, you've got these 7 people, I know they're close to you. But there's 70,000 children that are going to die if we don't. You don't, and I'm not going to say any more. You know the timetable. You know? If I can help with the search in any way, let me know, Captain. He could have been more of a human, rather than just a ticking clock. An automaton sort of character. To give the captain a hard time. And similarly, I think that Gaetano and Boma could have been more sympathetic towards Spock instead of constantly making comments behind his back and to his face and all of that. And don't have Bones give the speech about command and logic and emotion before any of that happens. Have him drag him aside after the first little incident. That would make a lot more sense. Have him drag him aside to give him advice and say, look, the crew are feeling a bit like this. Sometimes just talking about pure logic, and it seems very heartless, and you're not going to get the best out of the men if you keep talking in this logical way. You know? Be aware of, maybe the most logical thing to do is to treat them a bit more humanely, and not humanely, but a bit with more concern, a bit warmer, a bit more compromise, a bit more. And Spock did compromise on the burial near the end. But it would have made more sense for Bones to take Spock aside after the first bit of pushback, rather than before anything even happened. And he never did fix that guy's wrist, and that got him killed, because he tried to climb. Gaetano, before he died, tried to climb up a rock, but he couldn't. He didn't have the strength, because the doc didn't fix his wrist. God damn it, Doctor, you got that guy killed. And Boma almost got Spock killed, insisting on the burial, the grave stuff. And I don't think she, Mares, I don't think she was at the funeral either. I don't think she left the shuttlecraft at all, now that I think about it. And she, because she was so light, she was never in any danger of being chucked overboard. Except, and maybe this was on her mind too, near the end when they were getting rid of almost enough, almost enough to be able to be able to take off. Interestingly enough, if Gaetano and Latimer hadn't died, if any of those two hadn't died, we would have had to make a big decision. And one of them, I don't know if we would have been able to save him. We would have had to convince Kirk, once we got on board the ship, to go back to the planet to beam up the guy. Would Kirk have done that? Yes. Or girl. Maybe would have left her behind. Maybe. Definitely Spock if he chose himself. Anyway. Fun episode to watch, even if it annoyed me. In its point, the way it made its point. The point is okay. The way it made it seemed a bit... I don't know. It didn't fill me with... I wasn't laughing at the end. Let's just say that. And leave it there. I'll see you for the Squire of Gothos.